Welcome to the KAIROS Wisdom Keepers podcast, where ancient wisdom meets the modern healer. In our podcast, we share how ancestral soul wisdom and cyclical living support today's healers in activating greater wealth, health, intuition, and spiritual connection.
Hello, and welcome to our 11th episode of the KAIROS Wisdom Keepers, the energetics of gratitude and radical responsibility. I am Janet Raftis.
And I am Ina Lucas, and today we're going to talk about how gratitude and radical responsibility are two of the foundational components of 5D living.
Yeah, this is such a great topic because how can you talk about gratitude and not feel grateful? Like, that is one of the most powerful aspects of gratitude itself. Gratitude will instantly shift any energy into thought of gratitude. It is the secret sauce to creation.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's an energy of giving. And when you feel gratitude, you are radiating appreciation out into the world. You are filling the field with the energy of giving back and appreciation. And it is a part of a really powerful co-creative dialogue with Source itself. Because when you feel gratitude, you are saying to Source, thank you. I appreciate this. I want more of this. You're amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. And feel how you feel in your body when you're feeling appreciation. That energy of, oh my goodness, I'm just so thankful. I'm so grateful for this person. I'm so appreciative of these circumstances, of this thing. When you're in a state of appreciation, the chemistry in your body shifts. You have endorphins going. You have dopamine kicking in. When you're really in a state of gratitude and appreciation, you are like in tears crying over the wonder of life itself. When you develop and cultivate a practice of gratitude, it changes your physical chemistry and it changes your brain's, the wiring of your brain. You start to think differently. You start to look at things differently. You start to seek out the things that you appreciate in any circumstance. And that is all of that is and those are the energetics of gratitude, where it's changing the field around you.
Yeah, this is a great time to just briefly drop in the law of attraction, right? So like what you look for, what you put out is what you get back. It is what you magnetize. So if you are putting gratitude out, you will continue to find and experience things to be grateful for, right? Whereas if you're on the opposite side of that, if you're feeling resentment, then you're going to really attract in more things to be resentful for, because that's the lens you start to look through. So whatever it is that you're feeling in your body really serves as the lens for what you attract to you in your life. And we all have had the experience of like waking up on the wrong side of the bed, right? And then the whole day, like we start the day thinking, oh God, I'm having a terrible day. I'm having a terrible day. And what happens? All the things go wrong unless something comes in to kind of interrupt that pattern. Well, gratitude is, first of all, if you're feeling gratitude, you're going to have a great day. You're going to have more and more things to be grateful for. And also, you can use gratitude as a pattern interrupt. You can bring it in and shift, because you cannot feel resentment and gratitude at the same time. You cannot be angry and feel gratitude at the same time. And this is not to say like, to spiritually bypass, right? If you have something you need to express anger around or be assertive around, yes, by all means. But if you are, in your head on the hamster wheel of scarcity, resentment, worry, gratitude will shift that energy, and it will allow you to then re-enter into that dialogue with Source where you're really appreciating everything around you, and your body is filling up and shifting, as Ina said, on an alchemical level. Like your cells thrive in the energy of gratitude and appreciation, and they shrink and constrict in the energy of resentment.
Yeah. And being ungrateful is an energy of it's a taking energy. So being grateful, when someone does something for you and you're grateful, that is the give. Like the appreciation is you are in an energy of giving, of overflow. I'm so appreciative. And the energy exchange happens in the appreciation. Whereas if you're not grateful for your circumstances, for something that somebody did, and you're in an energy of resentment, and I'm not getting what I want, and they're not doing the thing, and all of that, that is actually an energy of taking. And you can feel it. You can feel it when someone is taking energy from you or giving energy to you. Right? And so we are in an ever expanding universe. God's source energy is the frequency of love and appreciation and gratitude and abundance. And when you really cultivate this state, it is like living life in a place of tears. And the beauty is that it's not from a Pollyanna state. Like Janet said, it's not about overriding the things that are happening in your life. It's about developing the practice so much so that that you can feel gratitude for the contrast and for the hard circumstances. And in that gratitude, you're going into the acceptance of all that is occurring in your reality.
Yeah. I so appreciate that you brought in that acceptance piece. And it's such a powerful component here in this overarching, story that you are the creator of your experience. You are a powerful co-creator in creation with the divine. You are controlling in a healthy way, right? When you're in co-creation like this, it's a very healthy manipulation of energy. It's this profound understanding that the universe, the divine, the matrix of life is always responding to you. It is always in conversation with you. And you are creating everything for your evolution, even the challenging things, even the trauma, even the challenges. And so when you really understand that, you can start to feel gratitude for all of it. And again, this is not to bypass. We have, things we need to feel the emotions around, and really working with repressed emotions can take you to a greater place of gratitude, right? Because it helps you to move through the victimization, which we'll talk about in a moment. But it is this place where you start to understand how powerful you are, and how you have orchestrated this amazing life full of so much goodness and so much challenge, because you came here to evolve. It really puts you in the driver's seat in the best of ways.
Yes, it does. And we are in the season of Lamas right now. We are in the season of the harvest. So that's part of why we're bringing this topic of gratitude and radical responsibility in, is because if we're not grateful for every bit of the harvest in this season, even the hard stuff, even the losses, then we're not taking in the immensity of the abundance that is surrounding us. And so it's so important to be feeling appreciation in this season of gratitude, in the season of Lamas, because the quality of your harvest will be reflective of the amount of gratitude that you have versus the amount of ungratefulness or resentment. Life is always reflecting to you. It is always showing you what you need to see. And when you look at your life, you can see the places where you are feeling the most gratitude and appreciation, because those places are growing in your relationships, in your money, in your home, in your family dynamics. And in the places where you are feeling resentful or ungrateful, it will be reflected back to you in all of those areas with unpleasant circumstances. Yes. So it's really, it can be very powerful to take an inventory of your life, to really look at where you have been feeling the most appreciation and how much appreciation has grown in that area of your life.
Yeah, I was just thinking as you were saying that, how it is all information, right? Like everything around you right now, if you were to just look around the room you're in, or the car you're in, or the environment that you're in, every single thing there is a reflection of your consciousness, of your state of mind, of your experience, your bank account, your relationships, as Ina said. These things are all information. And so if there are things that you don't like around you, that's a powerful invitation to shift the dynamic, remembering that you are the one that has the power to do that. Nobody else. It's nobody else's fault that anything in your environment is the way it is, because you are so powerful that you orchestrated all of it. So when we really get to that place, we get off of the drama triangle.
Yes.
Right? And we start to live in this place of radical responsibility.
Yeah. So what is the drama triangle? Because this is an important part of this conversation. When we're talking about gratitude and radical responsibility, we need to bring in the understanding of what the drama triangle actually it is. Because the drama triangle is playing out everywhere. It plays out in your family of origin. It is playing out in society. The media feeds on the drama triangle. And the drama triangle is what we are here to heal collectively. It's what keeps us in 3D, and it's what we're moving out of as we move into 5D, or whatever you want to call it, as we are in this process of awakening, as we are in this process of ascension. It's the drama triangle that is the sticky place that we keep getting stuck. And the drama triangle is it's the opposite of wealth. It's what keeps us in scarcity. It's what keeps us in fear. And the main drama triangle has 3 different components: victim, rescuer, and persecutor or perpetrator. And you likely grew up with a dominant place on that triangle. And so the persecutor or the perpetrator is the one that is causing the harm. So in family life, that may be a parent that had anger issues, or that had addiction issues and was emotionally, physically, mentally abusive in some form. They're the bully in school. They're the one that is causing the harm. And then the victim is on the receiving end of the persecutor. And the victim is the one that the circumstances are happening to them, right? And they're on the receiving end of that abuse, of that meanness. And then the rescuer comes in to rescue the victim from the perpetrator. And this dynamic continues to play out and play out and play out over and over. So if you look at your family, you can often tell who has the dominant roles in your family. And oftentimes, healers tend to be the rescuers in the family. They tend to be the ones. So it may be that you had, a parent that was mean to your siblings, or you may have had siblings that had some kind of physical disability or some kind of thing where you were coming in, they were the victim, and you were constantly coming in and rescuing them, or rescuing your mom from your dad, or vice versa, where you felt like you had to be the peacemaker, where you had to be the one that was rescuing them. And the thing is, you flip from all of these positions. You don't just stay in one role, because the victim will flip into the perpetrator. When the victim is tired and pissed off, they will come and be the perpetrator to others. It will all start flipping around. The rescuer then is overgiving and overcompensating, and then becomes the victim. And the victim becomes the perpetrator to the rescuer. Like, it's just a flip-flopping all over.
It is. And part of this too is that once you're on the drama triangle, you start patterning to it. You template to it, right? And so as you template to it, you start to really perceive the world, to go back to what we were just talking about, through that lens, right? Through the lens of, if your dominant is rescuer, you are going to look for things to rescue. If your dominant is victim, you're going to create opportunities to be victimized. Now, we do not want to take away from the fact that there is real harm being committed out there in the world. And this is, on one level, you say, well, that child didn't deserve to be abused. Of course not, right? Like, we are all deserving of having healthy, vibrant lives where we are respected and honored. And also, that child, in his or her 5-year-old body didn't choose it, but from a larger soul perspective, we choose the challenges in our lives that we need to experience for evolution. And then you can bring in karma and all of the things, right? Because we've been all of the things, experienced all of the things, are doing all of the things, right? So there's a much bigger picture. So we don't want to discount that there is real harm created in the world. And we can't expect people who are being experiencing being perpetrated on, right? We can't just say like, hey, pull up your britches, and get out there, right? Like, we need to have compassion. We need to have love. We need to feel generous, genuinely generous, and want to help. And also, in our own lives, we can assume radical responsibility, and we can look at others for the powerful co-creators that they are while we are supporting them, right? So to really see, because what happens on the drama triangle too is that we start to perceive people through that lens. Well, that person is a victim, and that person needs me to rescue her. That's so disempowering, right? So if we can hold everyone in their sovereignty, if we can step off and say, well, what can we do, and how can we live in a way that honors everybody in this dynamic, then we really start to truly change the world.
Yeah, because the drama triangle in and of itself keeps you in the energetics of disempowerment. We want you to really get that when you are blaming others, you are in a state of disempowerment. When you think that someone is not capable, when you think, so like the rescuer, that place on the triangle can feel like noble, like I have a cape on, I'm coming in and rescuing. And it's actually such a toxic, enabling energy to be in, because you're basically saying this person is a victim and they have to be saved, and they are not powerful and empowered in who they are. So when you get off of the drama triangle, you're stepping into a place of empowerment, because you're no longer holding other people in a disempowered place, and you're no longer holding yourself in a disempowered place. And so that there moves us into what is radical responsibility.
Yeah. And at its core, radical responsibility is that, we are all sovereign beings who are powerful co-creators. And when we can really take responsibility for every single bit of our lives, well, we move into a place where we really can understand, well, okay, I've been harmed, but I'm not a victim. Right. And, or this group of people or that person is being harmed. And through sovereign connection with that person, we can lift up, right? We can then embolden one another to really become empowered. We can support one another in the healing process. It's a completely different energetics. And this isn't about like having a perfect quote unquote life, right? This is, not about doing it perfectly every single day, but it is about being accountable and in integrity in your responsibility with everything that plays out around you. So like we were just talking about a few minutes ago, it's like really recognizing that everything that's ever happened in your life has brought you to this moment, and it has all shaped you. It's polished you. It's shook you. It has given you all of the information, all of the initiations, everything that you've needed to be the most brilliant you that you can be. And everything that has happened to you, when you start to really take radical responsibility for it, you understand that you did it so that you could do what you're doing in your life, be the human that you're being in your life. For me, when I finally worked through all of the repressed emotions around being sexually violated, when I finally worked through that trauma, when I did nervous system regulation work, when I released all of the emotions there, I was able, like, this is not to say like, that I'm letting people off the hook for inflicting harm on me, but it is saying I was able to get to a place of forgiveness because I understood how I orchestrated it as the thing that would put me on the path of healing and working in a realm of facilitating healing for others. And so I was able to experience in that radical responsibility of like, wow, I orchestrated that. I orchestrated it. I was able to come to forgiveness and gratitude that I gave myself exactly what I needed in order to get on the path that I wanted to be on in this life.
Yeah. I love that so much. It's really taking that bigger picture understanding of each of your experiences that caused some form of initiation and the gifts that came, the gifts, the skills, the things that you built in the process of those circumstances. So radical responsibility, it means not being in a chronic state of blaming everyone else and believing that it's other people's fault that's causing your circumstances. It's not taking ownership of your own sovereign life. So right now, it's really easy to blame the economy for your financial situation. It's really easy to blame the government for all of the crazy things that they're doing. It's so easy to make societal conditions be the perpetrator that has power over you as a victim. So this is where it's so important that you are not allowing outside circumstances to make you feel disempowered, to make you feel like that dynamic of power over and power under, that oppression model, that is all part of what we're healing as we're moving into 5D. And so the sooner you start to consciously recognize that your role in it, to notice where, like, that's why social media and all the algorithms and all the drama on TV shows, the news, the media, it is designed to get you engaged in, I can't believe that person. And can you believe they did that? And that's so wrong. And da 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 da. And then getting all up in it. If you're somebody that's in the comments on social media, going back and forth, that is full blown drama triangle.
Yeah. I mean, drama triangle sells. This is the thing.
Itself.
Yeah. It gets us activated, right? It puts us into like a nervous system response. So for some people, that's going to be to freeze and shut down. For others, it's going to be to fawn and go into like a rescue situation. For others, it'll be, to fight. And so we have to really be, hyper aware of how we tend to interact and to really commit to shifting this. And part of this is that we co-create on an individual level, but we co-create on a collective level as well. So no matter what, like we have all contributed to the creation of the state of the world right now. All of us have. And so one by one, if we unhook, and that's what's happening right now, that's why we're in a mass spiritual awakening, because more and more people every day are unhooking from this matrix. And it is creating a massive shift in patternings, which is bringing out temper tantrums and all kinds of asshattery and weirdness, right? But it's happening precisely because so many people are unhooking. And as we continue to unhook, we begin to perceive something new, something different. We begin to tap into different timeline options of how we would desire the world to be. And we can really start to co-create from that space, right? And when enough of us do that, and the collective, we cross that collective tipping point, like we're going to start to see some really powerful miracles occur that really are in a space of mutual respect, admiration, collaboration. And the more each of us takes radical responsibility, does our healing work, and shifts into this frequency of gratitude, the more quickly that's going to happen, and the better each of us are going to feel individually along the way.
Yeah. Because radical responsibility doesn't just mean taking radical responsibility for your own life. It means supporting others in taking full responsibility for their lives too. So that means that when you feel empowered in your life, but then you're looking at somebody as like, oh, and their circumstances and this, instead you're looking at them as a victim. So being in radical responsibility means each person is responsible for their own circumstances. You are not. This is unhooking from codependency and really honoring and respecting that every single person is a sovereign being. Every single person has connection to source, connection to God. Every single person is powerful as fuck. And when we look at them as not powerful, then that's, again, when we go into that state of disempowerment. So it's like looking through the eyes of source and honoring and recognizing that you are always co-creating with source, even if you are doing it by default. So the more responsibility that you take for your own circumstances, the more conscious you become of your own creation, the more powerful and aligned your creations will be, right? Because then you're in this state of, wow, that thing that just happened sucked. And I take 100% responsibility that there's information within that I created in my own simulation here that is giving me feedback that I need to look at. And so then you're looking at, the hard stuff is part of this overall evolution. And so then what happens when you combine gratitude with radical responsibility? This is the core of what we want to get at here.
Yeah. So gratitude and radical responsibility are really two of the foundational components of 5D living. So if you are tired of 3D life, like these are two things to embrace. When you bring them together by feeling appreciation for all the things that brought you to where you are while taking responsibility for your life, you automatically step off of the drama triangle. They're not compatible. They're not. So you will just, if that is how you're living your life, you will just not be a part of the drama triangle anymore. And you begin to operate as a sovereign being, as the divine being that you are. Because here in human form, we forget that we are actually divinity itself, that you are goddess, you are God, you are source, you are the matrix. This is why this elevates you into that 5D vibration, right? Is because you really remember and recognize and operate from a place of not being separate from the divine.
Yeah. So this puts you in the power seat, right? This puts you in the driver's seat of your reality. And everything is quickening now. And the more you allow yourself to take radical responsibility for all the things that are happening in your life while cultivating a daily, regular practice of gratitude and appreciation, this is how your entire world starts shifting around you. This is how you create more wealth. This is how you create more abundance. And this is why we're really bringing this in the Lama cycle, is because all of this is creating the energetics of healthy wealth, of healthy abundance in every area of your life. Your life is going to keep responding to your unique wealth codes, to your unique DNA, to your unique appreciation for life, because it's so amazing when you're just in that state of appreciation, and the universe, life, God, goddess, however you whatever you connect with, is like, give her more, she's so appreciative, let's give her more. And if you can imagine a world where all people are in that state of appreciation and radical responsibility, this is when new wealth infrastructure really comes into our planet.
Yeah, 100%. That is so powerful. And we are going to be elaborating on this and so much more in our Sovereign, Sexy, Healthy Wealth program, in which we take you through a roadmap to support you in creating a life in which you earn more with greater ease. Getting off the drama triangle with money, cultivating an empowered and deeply honoring relationship with money. It's an 8-week program that starts on August 29th. We're going to drop the link in the show notes below. It is going to be so powerful. The energy has been off the charts for this one.
Yeah. And Janet and I are so deeply committed to getting people off the drama triangle and getting people empowered in their lives, because women and healers and magical intuitive people with financial means is what shifts the world. Gratitude, radical responsibility, financial sovereignty is what changes communities. And so it is so near and dear to our hearts. And so we also have a free Activate Your Roadmap to Healthy Wealth ceremony recording that you can get in the show notes if you want to experience a bit of this magic and take the first step on our very potent Sacred Wealth Roadmap.
Yes. So each week on this podcast, we share cyclical wisdom and practical tools and insights for working with the seasons and the changing dynamics of planetary time. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends. You can also follow KAIROS Healers Academy on Instagram or any other social media channel. Like and subscribe.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. We so deeply appreciate you listening into this podcast. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the KAIROS Wisdom Keepers, where healers walk outside of time.